Breast milk. Breast milk killed my father. We were testing the audio, and then we just kept saying breast milk for some reason.
Well, you said breasts, and I said milk, and it just kind of put itself together.
Milk comes from breasts. That's what I tell the kids, is that to get
milk, you need to, touch a woman's boobs.
Yes, touch the woman's boob, squeeze very tightly. No,
nibble on it a little.
I tell them, whenever they're having chocolate milk or strawberry milk, that the way that you make that is that you get this machine that picks up a cow and tilts the cow, and I always mime it, where it's it goes and then the cow's head is towards the ceiling, and then there's a machine that opens the cow's mouth and pours chocolate right down into the cow.
Okay.
And then you get different kinds of milk out of the cow, because the cow has 4 stomachs.
Okay.
So I'm teaching them real science while also telling them bullshit. And the way that you get the chocolate milk is you put the chocolate milk in, it goes to the chocolate milk stomach, goes to the chocolate milk udder, and then they take the cow, and still in the machine, and then they remove the clamp, and it goes, and it shakes up the cow.
Really, really hard.
Really hard. And then that's how you get happy cows with 4 different kinds of milk.
Okay.
You get whole 2% chocolate and strawberry out of 1 cow.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right now, what you're looking at is...
Well, I'm just wondering, what about mango milk?
That is an exotic cow.
That is an exotic cow.
Right now, you're looking at us making onion rings. That's what we did right before recording this.
They were delicious.
And then we ate some of them while watching a documentary about Korean sex toy shops.
Yep.
Not North Korean ones. I don't think that those exist.
There might be one.
There might be one. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's allowed to have sex in North Korea. Maybe is everyone just forced to masturbate to the idea of Kim Jong-un? Or Kim Il-sung?
I don't know.
What a man.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a lot. What a unit.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I think we need more onion rings.
Does thinking of Kim Il-sung's luscious body get you hungry for onion rings?
No! The thought of us recording this over top of video of us making onion rings makes me want onion rings.
I feel that.
Has my butt texture been shown yet, do you think?
Probably by this time.
Oh, good. I hope you guys enjoy my wonderful butt texture.
Press F below to pay respects to Chelsea's butt texture.
I got new shorts. They show off my booty.
Booty shorts.
Booty shorts.
Today we're going to be reading Stuffed Ear.
Did you know growing up I had a ton of ear infections?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get ear infections?
I just did.
Okay. Did you not clean your ears?
Oh, I cleaned them. I was just very prone to ear infections growing up.
Did you ever, really desire to hear people fart up close and you just put your ear up to people's butts?
No.
Because that's how that happens.
That's not how that happens.
Pink ear.
That's not how that happens.
That's how you get a stuffed ear.
No, but when you get too many ear infections, you have to go to balance therapy. It's about what you'd expect.
Yep, that's about how I thought it'd go.
Which is to say, nobody expects balance therapy.
Yeah, I would suppose so.
I mean, the first thing they do is they test you for a certain, balance disease, I guess. I don't know the name of it. But they're just okay, just sit on this table.
You have uncoordinated-itis.
They're just sit on this table, sit upright. Okay, now, don't freak out when I do this. When you do what? And then they just slam you right into the table. And they're like, can you get up? And I'm just yeah. And they're just okay, you're not vomiting. You don't have this thing. I'm just oh... Did I really need to be body slammed, though?
They just pick you up. They're testing out the table.
Right.
Secretly, that's what they were doing.
That's secretly what they're doing. They're trying to make sure it won't break.
Make sure it's a good old Japanese table.
Yeah.
It was a hot, it was a hot, sticky summer day when young Jerry Taylor and his family arrived at their vacation home. Every year, they would fly down from Philadelphia to spend the summer at Lake Keowee in South Carolina. And this year was no different in that regard. Yep. That went about how I thought it'd go.
Okay, so Jerry is either rich or his parents bought a, what's it called? Timeshare
Jer.
Timeshare Jer. However, this was the first year of Jerry being able to swim. He eagerly ran into the lake alongside his parents, and though he only had a few months of swimming lessons, in his mind he was a professional, diving under the water and paddling himself a few feet from shore before his parents made him come back to shallow water. They spent a few hours enjoying themselves before they decided to go back into the house and get some dinner.
I remember when I was little, my brother worked at the YMCA, and so I could swim as much as I want there.
Oh.
And it was fine, because I wasn't outside, and I didn't get sunburned. And then sunburn, and it just didn't work. So, we would go, and he would do his job as a lifeguard. And there was this little boy that we always looked after, who, I shit you not, was like a 4-year-old. It was like the best swimmer I've ever seen in my entire life. He would, little 4-year-old, like 20-foot deep pool, and he would just dive down to the bottom of it like it was fucking nothing.
Oh, geez. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But that's like doubly impressive since I didn't learn how to swim until 2 years ago.
Did what?
Yeah, no, my parents did try to get me swimming lessons growing up, but my grandpa one time, threw me into the pool and I hit my head on the bottom of the pool. And after that, they couldn't really get me to, go in and swim. So I would usually just go and explore, creeks nearby instead of going swimming with everybody else. And then my friend Becker found out, and she was just like, I'm going to force you to learn how to swim. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Now, here's the proper way to swim. First, tilt your chin up all the way.
First, don't hit your head on the bottom of the pool. Second, don't drown.
Don't drown. Don't drown in past tense. That was when Jerry first complained about his right ear feeling particularly stuffed and irritated. You got water in your ear, his father told him, while his mother ordered a pizza. It should go away eventually. Unless
your eardrums are infected, in which case we're going to have to do to you what Stephen King's doctor did to him.
Molest him?
Bust that fucker open. However, he continued to complain about his ear problems for the next week, and his parents spent half their time trying to find ways to help him. Nothing worked. The rubbing alcohol and vinegar mix his mother was fond of using did reduce the pain, but he continued feeling as though there was something clogging up his ear. Maybe it's a cockroach.
Is it going to be spiders?
Is it going to be a cockroach?
Dude, it's totally going to be spiders. He's totally got spider ear.
It's always spider. It's always spider ear.
So this is...
hold on, I just want to say, on the 10th day of their vacation, Jerry refused to wake up. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, the creepypasta thing, the ashcan thing is to always have it be first-person narration for these kind of personal tales. So I'm not a fan of the perspective, but let's take this story for what it is, regardless, you know what I mean? On the 10th day of their vacation, Jerry had refused to wake up and go fishing with his father, despite them having made the plans the day before, with his son having been eager to catch something. He said he couldn't sleep because he was too cold, despite that the window had been shut and the night had reached 90 degrees Fahrenheit. A quick temperature check. That was a weird sentence, right?
No, despite that, the window had been shut and that the night had reached 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That makes sense to me.
Okay. No, I kind of see where it's going now. A quick temperature check revealed that he had a fever. Their plan scrapped that day was then spent looking over their sick child and trying to figure out what was wrong with him. It wasn't flu season, and his parents had spent a close eye on what their... Had spent a close eye?
That's like saying they've been looking over their sick child. Here's their sick child. Here's their eyesight.
Chelsea, we're not on video camera. Which is unfortunate, because it would have helped with me pantomiming how the cow gets...
how you get the moo juice out of the mooer.
But the point is, they're looking directly over the child.
Yes.
Having his parents had spent a close eye on what their son had been doing, Chelsea is uncomfortably close to me. Don't stand. Don't stand too close to my ears. He couldn't have eaten anything strange, and there was no bug bite in sight.
They decided to wait and let the fever break naturally, but instead, Jerry only got worse. When his temperature reached 102 degrees Fahrenheit, he was rushed to the nearest hospital. Though his parents were focused on the more obvious problems, he had made sure the doctor knew about the problem in his right ear as well. His parents had almost forgotten about it, so they were even more surprised than their son when the doctor reported what the problem was.
So, isn't that the sign of the times that I'm like, man, when was this story written? They're going to an out-of-network hospital. That must have cost a fortune.
Oh, geez, you're right.
Like, that is the first thing my mind does.
The first thing I thought was, it's only 102 degrees. Why would you go to the hospital for 102 degrees? Like, 104 I could understand, but 102, you just throw the kid in the bathtub and, like, cover them in ice.
Yeah.
That's what my parents did to me when I got 102-degree temperature.
That's called the frontier fisherman. You fuck them and then you throw them in the bathtub.
Oh, jeez.
No,
don't do that.
Parents, don't fuck your kids. Besides the fact that it's profoundly unethical, you will also go to jail. But bearing that in mind, that's so weird that's like the first place my mind goes is just like, man, that's expensive.
That just kind of shows the state of
how expensive healthcare is.
Yeah, how ridiculously expensive healthcare is, and how neither of us can really afford it.
No, but I did
along with a lot of other Americans.
Yes. I did just get dental, which is cool, though.
You got dental? High five.
Yeah.
High five. What about, like, the rest of your body?
No.
Just your teeth.
Just the teeth.
Just the teeth.
Yeah, so... but obviously, they're going to take him to the hospital, even if it's a slight fever, because they're rich parents and they're worried.
Yeah, they have a timeshare.
They have a timeshare. I don't think they have a timeshare. I just think they have a summer house.
How can you afford a summer house with the state of this insurance?
I don't know, man. They're rich. Jerry had a large swollen mosquito bite inside his ear canal. The mosquito itself was nowhere to be seen, and it was assumed that it left after the infecting the child. From there, it was eventually deduced that the boy was struggling with a particularly bad strain of malaria. Woof!
Oh, buddy.
Oh, boy.
If I was this kid, I would have died.
Known as P. falciparum. Yep.
Sure.
This type of disease was mostly prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, and it was also the most deadly.
The hospital immediately started working on treating him, sending a continuous flow of antiparasitic drugs into the bloodstream. But their efforts started too late, and Jerry Taylor passed away during the 3rd week.
His parents returned home as fast as possible in order to mourn alongside their family and friends. They had rushed back to Philadelphia so quickly, in fact, that they never noticed the mosquito bite on his father's calf.
Oh man, that poor cow. Poor baby cow.
Poor baby malaria cow.
Malaria cow.
Gives you milk. Malaria now.
Oh, malaria now.
Can a cow give you malaria from its milk?
I don't know. I've never looked into it.
God damn it, why is Mythbusters not a thing anymore?
Right?
Yeah, okay, that's the end of the story. That's a weird...
Oh, the first comment is, this reminds me of Monsters Inside Me, and that's right, it does. Good show, by the way.
Oh boy. Trying to think of things to say about this. Overall, yeah, it's horrifying, but I don't think that they have... Like, it's a real-world event. It's a real-world occurrence of, like, if this happened to you, this would be terrible.
Right.
And so, then, one, I think putting it into first person would help dramatically.
Right.
Because that makes things more immediate and more relatable. And then you can kind of give your narrator a voice.
Right.
But then also, I don't think that ending in upon itself really... Like, they didn't... I know it's a short story, but there was a lot of build-up to, like, oh, but he has malaria. And then after that, there was no mourning the child. Mm-hmm. You know, there wasn't enough time to...
Yeah.
They didn't tell... Even if it's a short story, you can tell me some stuff that'll make me care about the kid.
Yeah, or tell us stuff that'll help us, like, visualize the family a little more.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, like, we know that they're rich.
Yeah, and they can afford to go to an out-of-network hospital.
Yes, but outside of that...
Outside of that, we don't know very much about them.
Jake888 says, I added weird to this because it doesn't really feel like anything else. And the horror in it was a little too vague. The horror isn't vague. I just don't think it's portrayed with the gravity of it, you know?
Yeah.
With the gravity of a child dying. It would help if you explained where the bites came from. Was it from the water? Because you seem to focus on Jerry's ability to swim. This isn't a bad pasta, it just doesn't seem scary because we don't know what the horror is. Random mosquito bites plaguing North Carolina? Probably. Then we have a response from that same day. The horror was supposed to be from the idea of something as mundane as a stuffed ear turning out to be a mosquito bite inside the ear that then caused malaria before the family even knows what's happening. Yes, like, this person has a good concept. I think the name of the author is Yawning Lion, which is a good name.
Yeah.
The bites were just general bites from the mosquito. Is that the name of the mosquito? He's a general in the army. He's General Bites.
He's
This is my pet. This is my pet mosquito, General Bites.
Yes.
The part about the swimming was a red herring to lead people to believe Jerry had just had water in his ear. The explanation that I think Yawning Lion is giving here is good. I think that they just need to focus on how to make us care about this kid.
Right.
Easier said than done, but I agree with Yawning Lion with their premise. We get a response back from Jake. Yeah, I understand that, and I don't want to have an argument because I did like the pasta. I just want to offer some constructive criticism. I thought that it was just confusing at the end. If it were, yes, I know I'm the worst author. What? If it were, yes, I know I'm the worst author, but I would probably offer a vague explanation at the end. Something that is hardly even an explanation, but that's just me. I enjoyed it nevertheless. No, I appreciate criticism. So, Yawning Lion, I think that you are right. I think that this person is kind of missing the point a little bit. They're right that there's something to be critiqued here. I just don't think that they're giving the most constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I think they need to focus on making us care about Jerry a little more.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty good thing. It made me think about my childhood memories of that little boy who was really good at swimming.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something, but the parents don't care because they're just like...
Yeah, it's like, why should I care if the dad dies, I guess, at the end, or if he has a mosquito bite?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I mean, we don't know anything about the dad, basically.
It's not a bad stinger ending, but it
would be better if we cared.
About him, yes.
Yeah.
It just... Dude, like... Your child dying is not something you get over very easily.
Unless if you really didn't like your child.
Which, you know, hey.
But we don't know that, because, like, we got nothing from the parents. I mean, I'm assuming they cared. They didn't just throw him in the bathtub with ice.
No, but still. Yeah. Short story, just needs to be developed a little bit more. Mm. But Yeah, it
was, Yeah.
Anything else to say?
Did you know sickle cell disease actually developed as a response to malaria?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. So people who have sickle cell are more resistant to malaria than any other part of the human population. It's like
blacks.
Cystic fibrosis with the bubonic plague.
Chelsea's trying to get around saying black.
Yeah. But yeah, did you know that about cystic fibrosis, though?
No, but say that about cystic fibrosis.
Cystic fibrosis makes you more resistant to bubonic plague. Or at least, I think if you're a carrier, it's been a while since I read that research.
Well, we don't have a whole lot of cases of bubonic plague, so...
Unless if you're in Arizona, or was it New Mexico?
I don't pay attention to what happens outside of Ohio.
Oh, Ohio is the best. OH.
Do you want to plug yourself, I guess?
Alright. Plug.
Put down that dildo. I meant, like...
Oh, that's what you meant. Oh,
yeah.
I misunderstood. Hi, I'm CF Calmer. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and DeviantArt under various versions of CF Calmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.